So I put this into writing because if you know me, I can get a little bit of a spaz. You can take that one here. Hello. I put it into writing because I can be a little bit of a spaz when I get up here. So I wanted to make sure that I didn't ramble. But I felt like God just downloaded this to me, and I wanted to share it with you today. So we're going to put it up here in case I mumble or cry. Okay. When you hear that treasure often comes in broken pottery, that's me, realizing my safe was broken after winning the lottery. Being trained to smile on the street, all while avoiding the tumors growing inside of me. I became a master of mimicry. I'm okay, splashed across my face in the face of insurmountable agony. Mistreated, molested, and violated by neighbors we trusted. Sunday school teacher said, love yourself and your neighbor, left me feeling disgusted. Who does this tyrant think he is, putting me in harm's way, while he lives up in utopia day after day? With no one to talk to and no one to blame, finding it harder to mask the monster of shame, I dug in my heels and I vowed to be mighty. Delving inside, only turning up empty. Seeing my weakness and feeling like fodder, confused as the preacher said, love yourself, daughter. I launched onward. Looking out, looking in, no peace to discover. I launched onward to seek out a new kind of lover. A new mask to wear that bandaged the bleeding. Pharmaceutical in nature, yet I was light years from healing. All the while grew deep within from a whisper, a roaring, a longing I could no longer censor. Do you know what happens when anger turns inward? Disease starts to fester and boil up and blister. As strong as I tried to build up this exterior, the poison of pain began to seep through. Ruining all of my plans, I grew wearier, physically failing, knowing not what to do. Vomiting, writhing as affliction hit the surface. Sirens and lights. Meningitis diagnosis? Conscious one moment, the next comatose. Terror ensued. I had nowhere to go. Stripped naked and powerless, I laid literally dying. The first time I'd ever heard my father cry. Funeral plans? No, I'm here. I hear you. Won't somebody come to my rescue? I'll owe you. Is it true? Could the stories I chose to ignore actually be greater than myth or folklore? By his beatings and groanings and deep lacerations comes this terrible creature's undeserving salvation? Surely you jest. All to do is believe. Don't need to crawl miles on my hands and my knees. I'm finding this difficult to apprehend. How could my beginning emerge from your end? And that's when it happened. Whew, sorry. That's when he appeared. Was I losing my mind? Soft, gentle eyes, tough skin, and a beard. Was I already dead? No, I wouldn't see him. I'd be swimming in flames if this were the end. What are you doing here? Why did you show? I never deserved you. I'm tainted, you know. I'll fail you for certain, no doubt in my mind. You're better off walking, just leave me behind. But maybe, just maybe, you are who they say. Can you possibly love this disaster away? If you can, and I make it alive through this hell, I will walk by your side, impenetrable. Still boasting of strength that I didn't possess, believing somehow that I could convince him, ignoring the fact that he came to me at the height of my lowest momentum. The infection of sin had spread heart to body, yet there he was, straightforward arms to adopt me, knowing my promise to him was preposterous. He is who he is. His nature is benevolence. One simple, solid, and masterful touch, and then he was no more. Wondering if it had all been a dream, I rose up, feet on the floor. Then it hit me. For weeks, I was fed by machine, quarantined, unable to even be seen. My limbs were defective, my nerves were all dead, yet there I stood. Yesterday, having been given a death sentence, here I was, totally living. Nurses scurried as I ripped off the monitors, asking, no begging for food. If you know me, that's normal. Tears on their faces of joy and surprise, yet they thought I was finished for good. I knew what had happened. I was fully unswayed, walking back into life at the hands of Yahweh. Returning, I received the news. that there were others, same sickness, who left grieving fathers, mothers, sisters, and brothers. I was the only one that lived in my whole community. One would think this story was over, but under the pressure I caved. I tried to be good enough in my own strength, not looking to him to be saved. That charade came to naught rather swiftly, you see. Seconds, I think it endured. Back to the sickness inside of myself, needing again to be cured. Surely he's done with me, I told myself, riddled with shame and regret. What I couldn't conceive was, as long as I'm breathing, he wouldn't give up on me yet. 3 years rolled on, as I buried my guilt, waiting to meet my fate. Walking while sleeping, not living at all, believing it was all too late. Many attempts to go back to the grave, waking in places of danger, not knowing where I was or who I was with. Now God must be seething with anger. Surrounded one night by those seeming so perfect, worshiping they seemed so polished, I mustered the strength to ask if he still cared. After his gift I had demolished. One moment feeling so utterly worthless, as dead as I'd been years before, I saw him again with the same gracious look, and immediately I hit the floor. I could barely breathe, he came so near. I gave up all pretension, inundated with fear. Expecting his judgment, deserving it too, he said, "It has nothing to do with you."
Amen, that's right.
I'm here to put back together, my dear, all the scraps of a life you've been clasping so near. Let go, give it up. You're home. Don't you see? The only one who has to be strong now is me.
Amen. Amen.
I became nothing, so all you could inherit. Let that be the only thing you find worth merit. Now, 18 years later, I stand here before you, still learning to trust in his ways. Words can never do justice to him. I'd have to talk millions of days, which most of you know is probably possible. Just to illuminate one single moment, living inside of his grace. He can't be described, defined, or depicted. He can't be contained in a song. The universe can't even hold him. He's endless.
Amen.
Even outliving time, he's too long. He's always been, never to disappear. He spoke, and worlds were assembled. He scattered stars like dust, yet us he created to resemble. Himself and his majesty, why, I will never understand. But this one thing I know, I am never, ever, ever going to let him go.
And yes.
If, like me, you felt too far, too small, unimportant, please know that's a lie. It's a bluff. Because of him and only him, you will always be more than enough.
Amen.